تجديد رقم 140 لمحمد رسول الله مسجد أسس على تقوى الله وعلى حب النبي المختار صلى الله عليه وسلم مسجد أسسه المختار لحب النبي المختار صلوا على النبي المختار صلى الله عليه وسلم. When we were using Radisson and the rest of them, I will feel you guys very well. The whole place will be. Moment of supplication, moment of recitation. Supplication. Okay, this will be our supplication. Let us all recite As-Salatul Mukhtariyya to be our opening prayer. I don't know how you guys recite it, but I'm going to be the one that will lead it today. I just want to recite it myself. Okay, As-Salatul Mukhtariyya. Dr. Mustafa Mosque. You're welcome, sir. Marhaba bikum halan wa sahlan. So thank you for him. As a matter of fact, today we are not doing Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. When I call somebody when they stand up, all you have to say is Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So now we also have in our midst my dear teacher, my bridge to so many successes that I have made in my life, Professor Said Olurotimi Timehin from the Department of Foreign Languages, Lagos University. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I don't tell you, Yahweh. I don't believe in this. We also have in our midst a Sheikh. Sheikh Abdul Razak Mubashir Waliullah. You are very welcome, sir. We also have in our midst Sheikh Lukman Yemi Adeyemo, all the way from Texas. We also, so today, now we are getting the point. We are not praising anybody but Muhammad Rasulullah. We also have, I hope she's here, Sayyida Maryam Onikijiba Begore. Is she here? Not yet. Our special guests, we have Al-Hajja Sakina's bookie, right? Is she here? Not yet. We have Al-Hajja Maimunat Adebimbe Giwa. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We have Samad Olanuga. We have Al-Hajja Rukoyat Okolomo. Is she here? She's not here. And then the lover of Muhammad Rasulullah, we are all here to celebrate. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Hey, you want to be that? Hey, you want to be that? This is my 4th year of participating in this conference. The first year I took part, the one and only thing Sheikh Al-Mukhtar said to those who attended the conference then was that he didn't want anything else from whomsoever wanted to help him other than to help him build a mosque. This was how many years ago? 4 years ago. It should be 5 years ago now. Right? That was the only thing he requested for. By the following year, he said the same thing. That is just what he wanted. By the following year, he told us that he was trying to buy the place. Some people were trying to do mago, and then they added the money and all of that, so he had not secured the place by then. By the following year, he had secured the place. This was last year. He had bought the land, but nothing had been built. By the time we were having this conference, he was just telling us about the place, how he had bought the place, how the place is ready, how we now plan. As Professor Said said this morning, we wouldn't be talking about a place this morning. We should still be telling you, Eva, that was you, oh, in the next, you know how we Muslims do our thing. 15, 25 years, we are still talking about money is not complete yet. We are still on floor 1. Floor 1 is not done yet. Do you know how long it took to build Shomolu Central Mosque? Do you know how long it took? It took forever. I was a baby when the mosque was there. Before they could complete it, I had become a grown-up boy. Right? And it was not completed until after I had gotten married, as a matter of fact. But it took a lover of Muhammad Rasulullah who has for Muhammad Rosulullah, who said that he just wanted a mosque where he will be praising Muhammad Rosulullah, who said that I don't want anything else, just build me a mosque. And he said he didn't want just any mosque. He said exactly where he wanted it. He came out in one of those conferences that we did. At the end, when he gave his speech, he said something. He was doing his now. No, not that Sheikh, he was there. And then he was saying that a difficult task, but that's what he wanted. And he will not stop until it is done. Baba was there that day. Baba prayed about it as well. Then he also prayed about it. What I'm saying is that it takes a sincere love of Muhammad Rasulullah to get something like this done within 12 months. 365 days. What will take a community of Muslims 25 years to do, he has done in 12 months. Edition of Muhammad Rasulullah Conference of 2024 marked by the completion of a magnificent mosque in the center, in the heart of Surulere, Ogulan on Drive, as a matter of fact. Sheikh محب النبي المختار وهو بنفسه المختار وأخوه مختار الشيخ موسى بخاري المختار أمير أحباب محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم صلى الله عليه وسلم صلى الله عليه وسلم صلى الله عليه وسلم صلى الله عليه وسلم. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. See, there is no time. So you are class out in the Mondega, but it is so you are in you, but you will be that. So that you never waste. Don't give me in which time we never waste time. So now we will move on to the next program, which is opening speech by the chairperson of the conference. This is in person of Sayyida Maimuna Abiola Roji. Falyatafaddal mashkur. Falyatafaddali. Is she here? You're welcome.
اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد صلاة أجمع به بأينا العبادة والحسن أسلامتي بها قلبي من جميع الظلمات وترحمني بها في الحياة وفي الممات يا رب العالمين. In the name of Almighty Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful, all praises are due to Allah upon the soul of the noblest of mankind, the best of all mankind, the noblest of all prophets, Muhammad Rasulullah. May Allah continue to bless his households, companions, and the generalities of his ummah to the day of meeting. Our Honorable Sheikh, the League of Imams, esteemed guest speakers, distinguished moderator and panelists, special guests of honor, important personalities, gentlemen, ladies of the press, brothers and sisters in Islam across the globe, I humbly welcome you all with the most precious way of greeting the person. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. It is indeed a great honor and of course a great privilege for me to open the speech for the 5th edition of the Muhammad Rasulullah International Conference today. It is a beautiful occasion which annually brings together the members and non-members of Muhammad Rasulullah Global Family to unlearn the ugly points view that have been said about the noble prophet of Islam, and at the same time to learn more into what points to put into practice the beautiful characters in him. We accomplish these objectives by inviting into our midst notable erudite scholars of knowledge in order for us to benefit from their wealth of experience and knowledge. And alhamdulillah, we've never been disappointed for once, as we annually leave the conference hall with our eyes and minds opened. The distinguished guests of honor I want to assure you all that this is the best gathering a Muslim should crave for. Rosulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one of his hadiths by Abu Hurairah. وعن أبو هريرة رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وما اجتمع قوم في بيت من بيوت الله يتلون كتاب الله ويتدارسونه بينهم إلا نزلت عليهم السكينة وغشيتهم الرحمة عافتهم الملائكة وذكرهم الله في من عنده. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, any group of people that assemble in one of the houses of Allah to recite the book of Allah, learning and teaching it, tranquility will descend upon them, mercy will engulf them, and the angels will surround them, and Allah will make mention of them to those in his proximity. Those are his angels. On this occasion, we have come together again for another edition of this conference, and I urge us all to feel comfortable and relaxed as we begin today's program. I believe we will learn about religious moderation in the life of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah accept this as an act of ibadah from us, and may us witness many more of these on the surface of earth.
Rosulullah. I use 10 minutes. He gave me 15 minutes, I'm going to spend 10 minutes. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير الأنام محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. يا أخوتي في الله ألقي إليكم تحية إسلامية طيبة طازجة قائلة السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Distinguished scholars, with special citation to Sheikh Bukhari al-Mukhter, founder Muhammad Rosulullah Global Family, and Al-Hula Islamic Society of Nigeria, all protocol duly observed. Brothers and sisters in Islam, esteemed participants, once again I greet you in the most perfect model of greeting, in peace and blessings of Allah be showered upon every one of us. My job here is to give a review of this very important conference titled Religious Moderation in the Life of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Please, I'll just run through the slide and the background to this conference. For every gathering of this nature, there must be the baseline. Why are we here? And what are the issues that this conference will solve? And that's, we're looking at different crises facing our ummah in this recent time. The quest for leadership and control, political dominance, and the urge for mundane tasks, backlog of unresolved historical issues, and lack of understanding of essence of leadership and followership. The conference objectives. What we intend to achieve here, and at the end of this conference, we want to measure this if we're able to evolve a moderate trajectory for the Ummah, tapping on the prophetic approaches. To restore the Islamic teachings of moderate practices, explore historical and contemporary charters of Islamic moderation, such as the Medina Charter, the phase is in Morocco Charter, and the Abu Dhabi Charter of Human Confraternity, among others. Disseminate information and action/implementation plan to enhance intra-Muslim understanding and collaboration. entrenching behavioral changes of one ummah irrespective of our different ideologies. Our strategy. This will be achieved with the following. The conference activities that we will be having today. One, we'll be having 2 high-profile presentations. One, infidelity and innovation, threats and consequences to building a sustainable United Ummah by Professor Saeed Oluruti, Senior Lecturer, Department of Foreign Languages, Lagos State University, Ojo, followed by building a sustainable and united Muslim Ummah through moderation by Dr. Muhammad Nooreen Ashafa, co-founder and director of Interfaith Meeting Center, Kaduna. Strategy 2. There will be a panel discussion. Our panelists are here and we'll be having 4 panel discussions. These will involve 4 respectable 3 respective men and 1 woman. One will foster, we look at fostering a strong bond among different sects, a call towards a responsible ummah by Sheikh Abdul-Razak Waliullah Afakallah, founder Al-Mubin's International Islamic Society. The second one will be exploring trajectory of moderation to foster peace and understanding among Muslims by Sheikh Lukman Yemi Adeyemo, founder Markaz and Zawiya Rawdat Muhammadiyya Al-Ibrahimiyya At-Tijaniyya, Houston, Texas, United States of America. Each group will have 3 groups, and each of these groups will answer these questions and give us a presentation. The last one. Presentation, and after this presentation, we'll be inaugurating the first time in Nigeria. I say the first time in Nigeria, an international religious moderation center that will be housed here. The office is already provided. And this is an initiative of the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Prince Salman. And we are bringing this to Nigeria for the first time, and that is the whole essence of this conference. Thank you.
You are very welcome, ma'am. Your seat is right here. You're welcome at Hababiki. Ahlan wa sahlan. You're welcome. Come this way, ma'am. Come this way, ma'am. Come this way, ma'am. You're very welcome. Marhaba biki, ahlan wa sahlan. So now, the Babas, who are the lovers of Rosulullah, who are going to come and talk to us about infidelity and innovation, takfir and tabdir, threats and consequences, all the way from the Department of Foreign Languages, Lagos State University. You are very welcome, sir. Marhaba bikum, ahlan wa sahlan.
Muhammad Rasulullah. Citation.
No, I thought Prof has a BA Arabic Language and Literature in the University of Ibadan, 1990. He's got a PhD in journalism. So he's got a PhD, postgraduate diploma in journalism from NIJ, Oba, Lagos, and then MA, Master of Arts, Arabic and Islamic Studies from University of Ibadan, PhD, Arabic Studies, UI, MCS, Master of Communication Studies, Lagos. You know, when my wife told me that he had gone back to school and then he has gone to a master's degree, I had to call him. I was like, excuse me, sir, what are you looking for? He gave me 1 hour already for me to shoot my lips, then I shoot my lips. So now he has finished it, he has completed it. Now he's got 2 master's degree, and alhamdulillah, he has taught. He taught at Ansaruddin. He also taught, worked as a reporter and staff writer with the Deformed Sketch newspaper between 1992 and 1994. He also taught at Mahmoud Ahmadiyya College in Ikorodu, Lagos between 1994 and 1996. He also taught as Jama'atul Mubashirin Ilaro, Ogun State between 1996 and 2001. He is now in Lagos State University. He has been there since 2002 up till date. He is a Fulbright Fellow at Michigan State University, East Lansing, Michigan, USA 2007 Proficiency Certificate. He's got that in Interfaith, Peace Building, and Conflict Prevention. He has also got a certificate in Religious Literacy and Reflective Structured Dialogue from the University of Massachusetts, Boston in the USA. He's also got from Harvard University in 2014 a certificate in Interfaith Dialogue. He's also got, he was the co-chairman in 2019 of Nigeria Interreligious Council, Lagos State Chapter, 2016 Peace Fellow of Veritas University. He's also the head of Arabic Unit, Department of Foreign Languages, Lagos State University. And if you are looking for one of his products, I am a very proud one of them.
ولك الحمد حمدا خالدا مع قلوبك ولك الحمد حمدا لا يريد قائله الا رضاك ولك الحمد بالقران ولك الحمد بما هديتنا ولك الحمد بما سترتنا يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك ثم الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن نهج منهجه إلى يوم الدين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We give thanks to Allah the Almighty who has given us yet another opportunity of meeting together again this year. This is the 5th episode. Alhamdulillah, Allah has given me the grace of witnessing all.
Inshallah.
Here I am, and I hope, inshallah, I'm going to be around as long as this program.
You have promised that, sir.
Well, I actually got confused when the MC said I was speaking for 15 minutes. Thank God I didn't prepare a paper, but I have my jottings here. Otherwise, I would have felt wronged. I want to most humbly salute my big brother, Sheikh and Dr. Muhammad Ashafa. He's been a big brother, a mentor from the MSS days till this time. And we had a disconnect for so many years. When I got to the United States of America in 2007, during my Fulbright Fellowship, in the name of Allah, a mischievous, though not totally baseless review of Adrian Candidate's 2020 work, Fanaticism When Religion is Sick. He writes, in 2016, during Easter, a Pakistani grocer in the Scottish city of Glasgow wished on Facebook his Christian customers a happy Easter. A few days later, he was stabbed to death in the street by a fellow believer. This believer did exactly what a 14th century Islamic theologian Ibn Taymiyyah recommended. Muslims who exchange colored eggs with Christians at Easter should be killed. Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah, is often cited by Salafis and jihadists as a reference for their actions. The killer in Glasgow may not have heard of this theologian, but he shared the mindset of Muslims. The fatwa of wanting to kill for religious reasons is a legal concept. The fanatic is convinced that he must follow the law based on how Allah is thought of. This is where I actually got this thought. According to Islam, and I think Dr. Mustafa would have to take this up, not in his lecture, not necessarily in his lecture, because I know he handles those philosophical aspects of Islamic studies, theology, and what have you. And I think our students should have the right orientation in this regard. This is how Akka sees it. According to Islam, Allah is absolutely transcendent. That is to say, man with his language and thinking cannot possibly express the truth about Allah. We have no knowledge about Allah. Fortunately, there is the Quran that makes clear what Allah wants. Can we call this a pious agnosticism? Theology is therefore essentially impossible in Islam. When asked what theology is, a Muslim answers that it is the teaching that says that what is forbidden, and that says what is forbidden and what is allowed. This view of Allah is diametrically opposed to Christian theology. The Christian faith is a personal relationship with God, a relationship of love and trust. A Christian can say, I am a believer, but not practicing. A Muslim, on the other hand, cannot have a personal relationship with Allah because Allah is completely unknowable. What about the deed? Now, what the Muslim can do is to follow the orders of Allah. It is not about the inner life, but about the deeds. To be a Muslim is to behave the way a Muslim is supposed to behave. If a Muslim were to wish a Christian happy Easter, then he is an apostate, and therefore he must be killed. The latter follows from classical Islamic law, Sharia, and that is the will of Allah. This is the man's jaundiced view. But we have, in most cases, we have not addressed such concerns. Just last week, my son had a conversation with a friend, and the person told him that saying Merry Christmas to a Christian is worse than committing adultery, fornication, and highway robbery. He said you see, there are certain things you will hear and you think it's not going to happen, it can never happen. But the unfortunate thing is these things are happening. In fact, just last Saturday, I was at the Muslim Association of Nigerian conference. I was a guest speaker. I got there to meet an old friend. I never knew he was a member of the organization. And I'm learning about my view about Happy New Year. And I've always said that, for so many years. For God's sake, this unnecessary wrangling about New Year's Day is sickening. Because as far as I'm concerned, calendars are cultural constructs. As far as I'm concerned, Allah has created two truths, the sun and the moon. These are the things used for reckoning. You give the calendar the meaning you want. So as far as I'm concerned, it is not something you get worked up over and you start arguing unnecessarily. To be a message at night, you have to be very careful with this your view. I said for over 20 years I've been expressing that. And he said, go away, Happy New Year, go. So many times it is not because of your level of understanding. I've read some fatwas online, and I've seen scholars of repute saying conflicting things. So it shows us that we should continue to engage ourselves, because many times it is not what we believe, but the way we have chosen to believe those things. That is the problem. So what Julian Aka is saying here is that we do not have an Islamic theology. You only have a master-slave relationship between Muslims and their God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the contemporary Muslim society is plagued by these ailments. I've had students, even at LASU, I remember very well in 2003, I observed that there was a student, anytime I said to him, Salaam alaikum, he will not answer, just say good morning, sir. And he told, I asked him, how? I observed that you didn't respond to my taslim. And you know what he told me? mo ní kẹ́ máa expect àlàáfíà látọ̀dọ̀ mi ní ìgbẹ́fẹ́ kẹ́ expect àlàáfíà látọ̀dọ̀ mi. I told him, I said, thank you. And thank God I am not you and you are not me. Because if I am like you, you will have problem here. You will have a very big problem, but I will not sacrifice my own training, my own understanding for your own stupidity. See, this is a problem. So you have it among Muslim students, in the university, among our brothers in the various madaris of Arabic. So they do not even want to accept the fact that there could be good innovations and there could be reprehensible innovations. So when you say there is a good innovation, they tell you no. And they say you cannot be a better Muslim than the companions. Radiallahu anhum. Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, the first day, you know, it was Umar radiallahu anhu that introduced Tarawih. Somebody told me Tarawih was already a part of Islam. It was, he only brought it forward. I said, fine, it was Tahajjud brought forward. But when he brought it forward, it was named Tarawih, not Tahajjud. And he himself called it Bid'ah. When he saw people observing it, Umar radiallahu anhu said, Ni'matul Bid'ah. This is a beautiful innovation. And you tell me there can be a good innovation. So Umar himself said, this Tarawih is a beautiful innovation. So it means you can also have ugly innovations. So Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu did this, and there are so many things in Islam introduced by Umar radiallahu anhu. Things the Prophet ﷺ never did, but the ideational essence are already latent in the Quran and the Sunnah. But Umar brought them out and turned them into institutions. For administrative conveniences, he introduced the Baytul Mal, he introduced a lot of structures for the Islamic community. And nobody will ever say, at least nobody in his right senses, will say Umar was a Mukhter, was an innovator. And if he was an innovator, he was a very good one. Because all the new ideas he brought were. So in essence, when you say something, before you condemn something, it is something that has to do with the faith. In fact, that has to do with the fundamentals of the faith. Something that will distort the true essence of Islam. Talking about the hadith, kullu bid'atin dalalah, every innovation is an act of going astray. Every innovation is bad. Is as if one has, gotten lost. So say, Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani rahimahullah said, when you say kullu bid'ah, yani julluha, most bid'ah, not all bid'ah, most bid'ah will be tantamount to going astray. So it is not that every new thing you introduce should. Okay? There are so many things we enjoy, even in Saudi Arabia now, which were not there 25, 30 years ago, not to talk of 50 or 100 years ago. So, but all of these things make the religion easy for us, make the rites of Hajj easy for people to practice. So, I said ignorance lies at the heart of this. The Prophet ﷺ himself did not approve of this ideological totalitarianism that actually characterizes what people say. Some people, particularly youth now, have not studied Islam, they have not read Islamic studies, they have not studied anything other than visiting various websites looking for fatwas of scholars. And these are the internet scholars, and they will just come and say, he has now become an authority on Islam, forgetting that there are horizons of interpretation. In fact, there is this cosmopolitan complexity in the interpretational tropes. Let me give you a very simple example. Al-Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah and Ibn Sirin were contemporaries. Now there was an incident A man had a quarrel. Had a quarrel with his wife. And the wife started snubbing him. And the man said, "Woman, you have refused to talk to me, okay? If you do not talk to me before Salatul Fajr tomorrow morning, I divorce you. I divorce you. I divorce you." So he was hoping the woman was going to talk to him, and she refused to talk to him. And the woman said, "If you don't beg me, I don't even want you as a husband any longer." So but the man was secretly hoping that the woman was going to engage him. So in the morning, after Fajr, he was worried. He went to Imam Ibn Sirin, rahimahullah. When he got to Ibn Sirin, he explained to him what happened. And Ibn Sirin said, "How could you be so careless, pronouncing divorce as if you are playing? The whom you have divorced your wife. Your woman will have to go, even if you are going to take her back, let her begin the process of Iddah." And the man was going home, he felt bad, and I was only trying to use Shakara. I don't really mean it. He was going back and he met a friend on the way. And the guy told him, I asked him, "What is wrong with you?" And he explained. He said, "Abu Hanifa came to town last night. Why don't you just go to him? Probably you will get another ruling." He met Imam Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah, and he explained everything. Abu Hanifa was reading a book. He didn't even look up. He just said, "Go home. You have not divorced your wife." And the man went back to Ibn Sirin. I have met a scholar who is greater than you, and he did not. He told me I have not divorced my wife. So when he explained that, because Ibn Sirin rahimahullah was also a pious man, Ibn Sirin smiled and said, "Ask him, who is that Imam you met?" He said, "Imam Abu Hanifa. Let's go and visit him together." And he followed him there. When they got there, after exchanging pleasantries, Ibn Sirin asked Imam Abu Hanifa, "Why did you say that he had not divorced his wife?" He was so reckless and he declared talaq. And Ibn Sirin, Abu Hanifa now answered. He said, he gave a condition. He said, "If you do not talk to me before Fajr." And the woman spoke immediately. Look at the difference in the way we see things. He said, Abu Hanifa said, instantly the woman spoke now. She spoke, she said, "If you two don't beg me." So the condition has been met. So the marriage subsists. Now, as Abu Hanifa lives in one town, Ibn Sirin lives in another town, and they have similar cases. Followers of Abu Hanifa will be saying our teacher was right. Ibn Sirin's followers will be saying the same thing. And if these people had had the opportunity of meeting, probably they would have adjusted their views. If we do not have gatherings of this type, we probably will not be able to address some of these issues. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Man kaffara ahla la ilaha illallah, fa huwa ila al-kufri aqrab." Anybody who proclaims the kalima la ilaha illallah, anybody who proclaims the kalima la ilaha illallah, whoever calls such a person a kafir is closer to kufr himself. In another tradition, actually the Prophet ﷺ said, when a Muslim said to another Muslim, "You are a kafir," one of them is a kafir. If the person being labeled as a kafir is not a kafir in the sight of Allah, then the person who has called him a kafir has become a kafir in the sight of Allah. And we fall into this error because we don't understand who a Muslim is. What people bring in so many definitions of who should be a Muslim, and they never stop to ask themselves, who did the Prophet ﷺ call a Muslim? The Prophet ﷺ gave us at least 3 direct definitions of who should be a Muslim. It is sufficient if you say, "I am a Muslim." In 630 AD or CE, when the Prophet entered Mecca as a victor. He said, write for me the names of everyone who says, I am a Muslim. I am, even he is a Muslim. Let his actions later show whatever he is. Accept him as a Muslim. Not because he doesn't belong to your group, and not because he commits a particular crime. When a Muslim is guilty of a sin, he is only a disobedient Muslim. He is not a kafir. When a Muslim commits fornication, adultery, whatever he does, he is at worst a fasik. He is not. He is just a disobedient believer. The second definition, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Man salla salatana," whoever observes our salah, wastaqbala qiblatana, and faces the same qibla with us, wa akala dhabihatana, and he eats from what we sacrifice from the animals we slaughter. Fadhalika al-Muslim, that is a Muslim, alladhi alayhi dhimmatullah wa rasulihi wal muslimin, upon whom the protection of Allah, His messenger and the believers becomes compulsory. The third definition is tied to the kalima again. It was, and that is in the encounter of Osama bin Zayd in the battle. He was fighting a kafir, a disbeliever during the battle, and suddenly the sword fell from the hand of the person. And when the sword fell, the man shouted, La ilaha illallah. You know, like, I would probably have done the same thing. I said, you've been fighting, you didn't remember La ilaha illallah. Now your sword dropped, and he said, La ilaha illallah. Osama killed him. When the Prophet heard, what did he say? The Prophet did he say La ilaha illallah and you killed him? Osama said, O Messenger of Allah, he said it out of fear. The Prophet said, Afala shakota sabra. Mada tasnahu bi la ilaha illallah idha ja'atka yawm al-qiyamah tashhadu alayk. Why don't you open his bosom, his heart, to see whether he said it seriously or out of fear? What are you going to do with La ilaha illallah when it comes on the day of judgment testifying against you? So, beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, we should try and equip ourselves intellectually. Read the Quran, read the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Now look at it becomes compulsory to label anybody a kafir. It will have to go through a very long process by a qualified body of jurists. And even then they have to be careful, because the Prophet ﷺ punished people during his time. He never called them kuffar. They committed crimes, they fell into error. The Prophet ﷺ never called them kuffar. And even when you punish a sinner, the Prophet ﷺ will say, do not abuse him. Do not assist shaitan in distorting his affairs. Because you cannot be a true believer unless you are a follower of Muhammad ﷺ. And Muhammad ﷺ was the perfect example of love, of tolerance, of understanding. Even when you are wrong, the Prophet ﷺ will still apply the law of Allah, but at the same time, it will still be merciful towards you, because it was rahmatun lil alameen. It was a mercy unto mankind.
Armed militias dedicated to defending their respective communities as violence broke out in Kaduna, northern Nigeria. The documentary film, The Imam and the Pastor, based on their experience, is an inspirational presentation on forgiveness. And Ashoka Fellow in 2006, Imam Ashafa was conferred with an honorary doctorate degree in alternate medicine in India in 2005. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Those of us who are engaged in program and all of that, may I sit by Roger's space. Please, let's try to avoid going past the speaker. By the time it goes on air, it becomes something else entirely. Let's avoid it. Thank you, John.
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فهو مهتدي ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن حبيبنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد بن عبد الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. Today is another important day in my own milestone and my journey of life. Happy for two important reasons. The fulfillment to see young generations. During our days, we always have to carry basket, chain, bowling line, asking for cover. Ambassador, masalasi. I always be the boy who carry the small bucket. And at the end of the day, over time when you're paying out more like it, I want 50 naira, I back over to I don't know but kábíyèsí bá ló fún ọgbọ̀n síbi máa ń lọ ìyàwó tọmọ tó bá yà pé àti ọgbọ́rọ̀ máa jíjẹ títà aládùúgbò onílé máa ń mọ ọbẹ̀ nígbà yẹn lọ́hùn àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ sọ à ń lo ojú ọ̀rọ̀ lọ́wọ́ mo tí ń bì sọ nígbà wa lójú ẹ̀mí ọlọ́run àwọn tí ń bì sọ one of the important things ni pé àbẹ̀sí láwọn táwọn èrè digital imam. There are positive digital imam, there are negative digital imam. The negative digital imams are the imams who go for fatwa on the goggles. They are the fatwa imams. They are goggle imams. They never go through the trauma of learning, through due process of learning. They just pick it on the internet, which my colleagues and my big brother, Professor, my imam, when we were young, he has a very good, I'm an awesome man. But Imam Timeni was one of those imams in the IBC in 1980s. I'm talking about 83, 84. He's one of the imams who always, when he started reciting, you just feel happy. Because I came to join Southern IBC because I want to learn Yoruba. My parents said, go back to the South and miss Yoruba so that you can be able to learn the mother language again. So an Imam Timeni is one of those young imams who, when we are doing tahajjud, they are very good. They are more happy with the video of 20 rakat tahajjud. That's 40 years ago. So we can now see today that our younger brothers are coming up. And I'm so happy to say in Lagos, and he's not interested in all this flashy lifestyle, but was thinking of what is the best he can give to Allah. And the ladies are thinking what the best they can give to Allah. And the brothers in their salat, they are thinking of the best they can give to Allah. And they're able to contribute to this, Allah Barak, for this particular. So for me, it's a very that this is happening in our own time. I will hope, inshallah, it's just the beginning to change the tide of history. Distinguished brothers and sisters, building a sustainable and a unified home through moderation. The prophetic approach. So they just finished with the prophetic approach. All I need just bring one hadith and then another, what the prophet have commented, and I say I finished. So and they give me 15 minutes. And I don't know how to start in 15 minutes. Because the most important, you have to give historical context of how does the Muslim become disunited. If you don't take the global phenomenon where we are so much, but our large number and our resources is useless in terms of protecting our Ummah who are suffering inside it. It's not just about Gaza, who are suffering inside it. Today, 23,000 people are murdered, slaughtered. In our face, we watch them live, and we couldn't do anything. Not before Gaza, we know what is happening right now with the Muslim community in China. The Muslim community of China is nothing less than over 2 million of them in prison, open prison. They are forced to clip their beards. Their women were forced to people not to put on long sleeves or short sleeves. We know what is happening. It's still going on in China up to today. Apart from that, before that, we have the Rohingya in Burma. The Rohingya Muslim community were almost wiped out of Burma. That one is still going on, but the world is silent. It's not that alone. With all our populations in India, Muslims were forced in some communities, either in India, they are forced not to be identified as citizens, even though their great-great-grandfathers were part and parcel of India. Distinguished brothers and sisters, that is also far away. We know what is happening here in Nigeria. Let's come back to Nigeria. Specifically, look at the large numbers. The richest Nigerians, the predominant majority of the richest Nigerians are Muslims. Am I right? They are Muslims. The richest Nigerians are Muslims, among the top richest Nigerians. And what is happening up to today with the internally displaced persons in northeast of Nigeria? Where are they? We know what is happening. There are nobody, the support they needed to pick up life again is not there. Nobody is replicating Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Medina. The Ansar and the Muhajirun in Medina, nobody is talking about that. We are busy internally feeding ourselves and blaming ourselves. We are busy doing the negative things. You remember in the northwest where I came from also, in Zamfara, in Katsina, in Kebbi, in Sokoto, in some part of Niger, some part of Kaduna, some people have taken over the whole local government. They dictate what happens. They say Bismillah and slaughter fellow Muslim brothers. They come to your house and say, this time around, we need your daughter. Sit down and watch how they rape your daughter. How they rape your wife. In our open eye. And we will not be able to do something about that. But we're still the majority, the dominant majority in Nigeria. If you say yesterday you are doubting we are not the majority in Nigeria, the Muslim ticket has shown you clearly that yes, indeed Muslims are the majority in Nigeria. It is not, you can't, there's no other way. Majoritarianism. It is a common cause of pain because we fail to identify the strength in our unity. As an woman, so therefore we are looking at three important phenomena. Look at Nigeria. Let's look at Nigeria in the context of Nigeria within the framework of the last 200 years. Before the British colonial come to Nigeria in 1844 to Badagry, before they come to this part, what happened? We have an organized Muslim community across Nigeria. I know if I talk of Dawla Usmania, before Dawla Usmania, 150 years in 1817 to 1857. Then you have before that you have the Kano Borno Empire, which is alone in the 9th and 10th century. Islam has settled with the Dawla of Islam. Osman did the Reformation. And Islam spread up to here, even up to Lagos. The Sheikh Bey family, with the first mosque built in Lagos in 1854. Around 1850, 1860, the first mosque was built here in Lagos. And it has an embassy connecting to Turkey. Here in Lagos. Don't talk of Ede, don't talk of Oshogo, don't talk of Iwo, don't talk of Agomasho, don't talk of Ilorin. We are talking about 200 years, 150, 200 years ago. But look at when the colonial authority came and conquered Lagos. They conquered Lagos in 1860. 1860, Lagos become what? British what? Colony, British protectorate. And for 40 years, they advanced fighting Dawla Usmania until 1903, when they conquered Dawla Usmania and they subdue it and take over the leadership. Then the Muslims become divided into three. The first group say we are leaving Nigeria, we cannot be under a king, because the king of England gives directives. They can't be under a woman, they move into what? They move into Sudan. The second group says, yes, we will remain in Nigeria, but we have nothing to do with them. The third group says, well, let's join them and see. We don't say that Lalura has become necessity. And necessity is the mother of invention with fraternity. How we can find a day that will be able to bring back the Dawla of Islam. That was the situation. But the proceed, the end result of that was a large chunk of organized Quranic schools, educational institution called the Zagaya, the Madrasa. And that because the treasury, the Islamic treasury that is supporting the Malams who are running these schools. So everything closed down. So no support. Philanthropists are supporting at the point economically Western education replaces Islamic education. And the consequences, you know better than I do, is that what? Is that we have the Al-Majri. Children of those schools have nothing to call them. And this today, look at what is happening. Is it not a shame on us? There are children who take the street on the street looking for begging for food because they want to learn the Quran, they need to eat, they need to beg on the street. This is a phenomenon that is happening where our dominant majority do not progress. We are large in numbers, but our large number and percentage is useless in terms of usefulness to give us the courage to move forward. That's why the subject of discussion, the unity of the Ummah, I always look at the negative side, were the consequences of our disunity. So my presentation is looking at three important areas. First, when you talk about Ummah, what is our understanding of the word Ummah? Then the second level is looking at the unity. We came back to talk about unity in diversity, the unity of the Muslim Ummah. And the third one, moderation. These three important elements, unity, moderation, and the Ummah, are the key issues. If you can find a trace to tie the knots around them, then automatically the Ummah will be a strong Ummah like the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They are very small, but they conquer nations. They subdue empires and kingdoms. Very small, but because they are united in purpose, in vision, with a common vision, they were able to subdue the world they live in the 7th century. My beloved brothers and sisters, when we talk about the Ummah, the Quran has told us who are the Ummah. It's talking about us, about a community of brotherhood, a community of fraternity. And Ummah is called a community that have unity in purpose, a unity that have one central goal. Where is going? Searching for the will of God. What is he doing? Trying to fulfill the will of God. He draws his happiness in fulfilling the will of God. He draws his strength in searching for the will of Allah. So that's why we are adult of it. The unifying factor is all Muslims, wherever we are, we know Allah is one. It cannot be two. It cannot be three. It cannot be a woman. It cannot be a man. It's beyond gender. It cannot be the big six. No, as the Chinese say, is the star, is the sun in the heaven. God comes from the sun. The person was created from the sun. No. Far from that. So when we know this, that adult of it, we have unity. We all believe in one God. And one of the strong unifying factors apart from that, the Ummah have one focus. They all believe in the cardinal pillar of Islam. And this 5 important pillar of Islam is the unifying factor for all the Muslim Ummah across the world. Believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, believing in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Believe we have 1.8 billion Muslims in the world, according to the latest statistics. 1.8 billion. And for the Muslim countries, we are up to 2 billion already, across the 2 billion line. But the statistics from those other sources, they say we are 1.8 billion. And 1.8 billion all over the world, they believe Allah is one. They believe Muhammad is the final and last messenger of Allah. No one is doubting this. No Muslims. No matter either you are Tijaniya, you are Qadiriya, you are Nashbaniya, you are Shirawadiya, you are Fatimiya, you are Shia, Ismailiya, Shia, whatever way you believe, you don't believe Muhammad is one. Whatever you are, if you say you are a Muslim, nobody is, no interpretation dispute Allah is not Allah. No interpretation disputed or doubt the personality and the prophethood of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's strong unifying factor. So you say Al-Ummah, the Ummah is the Ummah that put Muhammad as the driver and Allah as the focus, the destination. The destination is Allah. The driver is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, and that goes on for all the other core components. No Muslims in the world deny it. That Hajj should no more be, no Muslim, no matter all the wahala, say Hajj should not be in Saudi, Hajj should be in Nigeria, or Hajj should be in Turkey, or Hajj should go to, no. So let's keep that up. So this is the Ummah that have fraternity, compassion. We are so compassionate with one another. That is the symbol that put us together. My beloved brothers and sisters, the Ummah Allah told us even by the best. Quran chapter 3, verse 110. Allah said, Kuntum khayra ummati ukhrijat lin-nas ta'muruna bil ma'ruf wa tanhauna 'anil munkar wa tu'minuna billah. It didn't stop there. Look at what he showed the difference between us and the others, those around us, our neighbors. He said, وَلَوْ آمَنَ أَهْلُ الْكِتَابِ لَكَانَ خَيْرٌ لَهُمْ. Hey, àwọn kìí yóò wá jẹ́ mọ̀ pé dúkìá lórí ìlú fún ẹ. Ìbá máa dáa fún wa o, ìbá máa rọrùn pọ̀ o. Àwọn Christian máa pe Islam ní ọ̀nà. Ìbá máa sọ ní orí ni ìbá máa tètè kàn wọ́n bí ajá o. Orí ọ̀tọ̀ hún, èsì ti rí nìkan, títọ̀ hún. Minhum mu'minin wa aktharuhum fasiqun. Allah told us very clearly, you are the best of the Ummah, you are the best community. Because you transcend tribes, you transcend race, you transcend culture, you transcend ethnicity, you transcend scale of value, or what you call
status.
Power, political power and authority. You transcend that. You are an Ummah. Anytime it's time for prayer, gbogbo ọba tètè dé ọba wa lẹ́yìn ni yóò tó lẹ́yìn. Bí chairman local ọba tètè dé ìmáàmù gbénu láti di kọ́díkọ́ ọmọdé sọ́dá kọ́díkọ́ ọmọdé sọ́dá ìmáàmù ti gé ni yóò pàdé ládọ́nà. Tí ìmáàmù gan bá pẹ́ kó tó dé after 2 minutes 3 minutes kí láàmú rí àwọn sàràfíà ọ̀tẹ̀ ní lọ́wọ́ aráàlú alọ́mù wọn ò tẹ̀ ní fún ìṣẹ̀lú méjì ní fún ìwọ̀n ìṣẹ̀lú méjì lọ. Àwọn kò bá yà yọ ọkàn ìgbọ́n kírun ní ọkọ̀ sẹ́yìn. Wọ́n bá fún ìṣẹ̀lú márùn-ún ìmáàmù ọ̀wọ̀dé ọ̀yẹ́ ẹ̀dá kan ní lórí. This is the Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because you can't take advantage of the Ummah. That is what who we are. However, this quality are number one, or preaching command, Mabasi the Sharia, or summarize the sin command. Alakoko, he proceeded the honor of that brother. The goal is to protect his honor. It's an Ummah, it's a community that protects the honor of members of that community. Number two, they protect the property of that member of that community. Number three, they protect the lives, his lifeline, meaning his lineage. The lineage, Oma Japa Maje, Oma Japo Nido Matine, Nico Matine, àwọn lọ́ba ọba ní wọ́n gbogbo ẹni ọmọ ìkókó pé ọmọ kàbàlì sáyà kọjọra wọn abẹ́rẹ́ ẹ̀sẹ̀ ọmọ ìbá wà ní ọmọ àwòrán ti pé ìwọlélé ọmọ mi ọkọ̀ ìwọlélé ọmọ ti lẹ́yìn tí ó ti lélẹ̀ yìí dáadáa. So therefore nínú báàlù ní pé ká protect lineage this is my personal share wà á máa ló léwu ká protect the intellect ability for you to learn you must learn and you must have freedom to decide. It's a community that gives you freedom to decide what you want to be. Nobody can intimidate you to be. Nobody can force you to become a Muslim when you are within our home. Nobody can force you out of Islam. Nobody can excommunicate you. Are we getting the point very clear? And so on and so forth. These are the binding points that bind us together. And that's why you can see it in Medina when the Muslim went to Medina for Makkah, the Muhajirun went to meet the Ansar. Because it's the Khairul Ummati, they opened their door. Not only their door, because they gave them accommodation, they gave them food, they gave them clothes, they gave them shelter. Then they shared their businesses into two. Start giving them, come and join my business to survive. Do this, giving them every hand to start up. They give start-up businesses to many of them at the room. Not only that alone, those who doesn't have a wives, they help them pay this money. They are better pay money at all. ìmọ̀ mi bá fún ìmọ̀ mi yà wò. Sọ sí òde mo fúra dà mọ́ máa ṣe mọ́nà o. Àwọn àjẹ̀dá wá dé. Ẹ̀wọ̀n ìyá mi, o tí mo sọ̀rọ̀. Àwọn máa kojú ẹ̀ wò tó ní lójú tiwa káwò tiwa sí i. Ìdí àánú ń bẹ lọ́kàn wa báyìí. Wọ́n gbóúnjẹ wálé aṣáájú ẹ̀dá mi kan gbé ẹ̀bùn wá ẹ̀bùn kí ni? Ìyẹn ń bẹ lóde bí yẹn sì wà lóde tá à ń pariwo pé àwọn alẹ́kọ̀ọ́ Tinubu wálé ẹjọ́ ni wọ́n lẹ́ ń pariwo ebi ń pa wá o ojú sì tì mí. Ọlọ́sàdé kọ́ mọ́tò pé Rasaki ní sọ̀rọ̀. Ìdàgbà tó kọ́ fẹjọ́ lọ́sùn mu. Ebi ń pa wá o Tinubu ebi ń pa wá o. Ayé tọ̀hún àwọn ọmọ àkọ́kọ́ tá à ń pè ní ọmọ Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wọ́n ìyẹn mú lọ́dọ̀ wọn náà báyìí ìyẹn sì mú lọ́dọ̀ wa lónìí. Ìyẹn tí wọ́n tó mú wọ́n wá gbóúnjẹ wa. How one of you speak out Yoruba Tigo? What are Yoruba Tigo? Ẹ̀gbọ́n Yorùbá. They brought the food because of benefit after on the internet. Wọ́n gbóúnjẹ yẹn wọ́n gbà wọ́n gbóúnjẹ bí tó ṣẹlẹ̀. Ànábì Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ní ẹgbẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Abubakar ó bùkátà. Wọ́n bá gbóúnjẹ yẹn gift yẹn wọ́n bá gbé pàtẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Abubakar ní káyọ̀. Osman Umar Mbende inú ohun tí ìyẹn tó mú yìí ọkà ìgbé lọ sí Umar. Wọ́n gbé lọ lé Umar wọ́n sì gbé lọ ẹni bí wọ́n sì ráyè ẹ̀dá kan gbé lọ lé Usman. Wọ́n gbé lọ lé Usman. Usman náà gbóúnjẹ owó báyìí wọ́n ó ní àbúrò wa ń bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ Sayyidina Ali ẹgbẹ́ lọ fún Sayyidina Ali. Wọ́n gbé fún Sayyidina Ali. Sayyidina Ali náà tó wá gbà wọ́n ní ẹ̀mí agbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ fún bàbá mi ò tí ì jẹun. Ọ̀nkú mi bàbá mi aṣáájú mi wá sí ìgbóúnjẹ wá sí ọjọ́ ìṣáájú ẹ̀ padà. Look at how the food rotate. And then how does it come? He went down because they are all with the same spirit of fraternity, brother. How many of you know that your neighbor children are sent away from school and you can pay that 5,000, 10,000, 20,000? It doesn't add anybody, and you know it's your neighbor. How many of us paid school of our neighbors? How many of us know that we do? When we know our husband, what did he do? We are able to support him, support the children's education. And we have the means without stress, or we close our eyes. Ọmọ wa jáde tó ń fi ṣe ọmọ wa ní school ọmọ, ọwọ́ àdọ́mọ àdúgbò, ọdọ́mọ títì, ó di area board. Ọmọ àdé wa jáde tó ń fi ṣe náà bá àdébí ti ọmọ wọlé bọ̀. Ọwọ́ àdé báàgì lọ́wọ́ rẹ̀, ó di fóònù $100 bí $500 ó sì lù bá ó sì bá fóònù ọ̀dọ̀. Ọmọ àná tẹ̀yàn lọ́wọ́ òun ló ṣekú pé kíni ọmọ tẹ wọn ló fẹ́ sọ ní bàbá. My beloved brothers and sisters, we don't have a time but this is the woman. The woman is the woman that helps, that cares for the neighbors of the members of the community. That was the woman in the light of Islam. And the Muslim woman, that is what we are looking for. If you are God of woman, Yahweh, our Jekayu, our Sukari. No, it's a woman. This is the woman we are talking about. There are so many verses of the woman. Sorry. About 64 Quranic verses, directly and indirectly, that refer to the Muslim woman, the Muslim woman. Some in singular, some in plural text. We are not going to grab the grammar of the Bible. And distinguished brothers and sisters, how do we become what we become? Instead of loving ourselves, we are hating ourselves. We are throwing poison in ourselves. We set our institute to nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ní pé ẹ̀yìn àpá àwa content days. Táàpá bá nílé tó bá fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ kí lọ fẹ́ wíwá ìdílẹ̀ abẹ́gbọ́dé test in just against the other. It's just counter long the Republican from Buhari. Èsì Buhari tó mú Buhari ilé mú. Ṣé Buhari mú mi? Èsì Buhari tó mú mi o. Buhari tí wá ti dín náà olùkọ́ ẹgbẹ́ Muhammad. Ọlọ́run kò bá ṣẹlẹ̀ fún àgbàdo. Ọlọ́run àti àfọkọ́s. Àwọn mìíràn àfọkọ́s. Ẹni tí wọ́n lé òun náà ṣe di mọ́tò. Àwa náà ló ní okùn tó gbé gbà. Onímọ̀ tó ti ṣe di ilé. Àwa náà okùn tó gbé gbà. The concept have changed. So in the light of this, my beloved brothers and sisters, what I'm just trying to say is that the concept of unity in diversity has become a challenge. Ọlọ́run sì wá láti ẹnu Quran. Wàá àdúrà simple the Quran chapter 3 verse 103 táwọn tó gbogbo wa. Lábẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ni kí ni máa wí náà? Ọlọ́run ni hold on to the rope of Allah. Wa'tasimu bihablillahi jami'an. Ọlọ́run ló bẹ̀ wá. Ó ní ẹni tí gbàdé wà lẹ́nu ọmọdé bára ní sọ̀tẹ̀ tó bára ní sọ̀tẹ̀. Tẹ́ ń díjà ara yín, tẹ́ ń kó bára yín, tẹ́ ń sàtìra yín. Ọmọdé ọlọ́yà tọmọ olóṣọ̀gbọ́ àtọmọ ọlọ́yà tẹ́ ń sàtìra yín ẹran tí gbà náà. Àlọ́ àwa kì í mọ́lẹ̀ sínú ìgbésí ayé. Àwa sọ yín léèyàn, wọ́n á ń fi ọ̀la làájá. Ọwọ́ agbátẹ́tọ̀ àlájá àlájì ẹ̀ wá ń dáhùn. Ẹ̀ wá ṣèṣe bẹ́ẹ̀. The woman was one united. Láyé John it was only one woman. The goal, our organization láyé John came to the outside and mostly Yorùbá in Dubai. The goal was Allah, Allah, Allah. Zumratul Islamiyya. Zumratul Islamiyya. Ahmadiyya. These are the primary source of Islam. Ansaruddin. And this the goal is what can we do? We establish schools and teaching and teaching and teaching and teaching and teaching. Tẹ́bára wà fà wá olóró wọn bá jà kìí ṣe mùsùlùmí nípa mùsùlùmí jà. Bàbá Abọ́lájí akéwkéwé tí wọ́n sọ àwọn bàbá máa ń tàn lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. They killed him because he was combating their children out of paganism to Islam. He was murdered here in Lagos. We are like one whole body. If one part of us is sick, the whole body is sick. In another metaphor, you say we are like blocks, walls, or walls built by blocks, one block supporting the other. A ship with a Malabar. One is empowering the other. You can only be great if you have people around you. You babo one in last saw me. Timba Lord, Timba Wayne, Loto. In last saw Muslioni, Asawana, Omadua, and the ability for us to unite and to become proud. They are making it easy for us in this center. They are putting Baraka in this center. Maybe it's just the beginning of what will happen in every state of the Southwest. In every state of Nigeria, 36 states of the region. We are going to open international center for Muhammad Rasulullah International Center for religious motivation across Nigeria. We are going to make this come true. ربنا إننا آمنا بما أنزلت واتبعنا رسولك فاهدنا اللهم ارزقنا بكرامة القرآن العظيم وارحمنا بكرامة القرآن العظيم وارفعنا بكرامة القرآن العظيم.
A call towards a responsible woman. Thank you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم آمين. The topic before me has been well justified by the two biggest leaders, our Sheikh Shaba and my beloved friend Dr. Professor Olurutimi. So the 5 minutes will not even be too much for me. Let me start like this. Before going to the topic, let me be just in it. Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the detail of me will disappoint me. I shall tell you number I'm going to be doing 454 in the medical value of Muhammad Rasulullah. MashaAllah. We are going to describe the situation of the and that is so beautiful. The first place ever in my life, Muhammad is so beautiful. And this place is so beautiful. Gbogbo àtàkùn sí ọlọ́run mọ̀lẹ́ ká inú àbútíkọ̀. Wọ́n tó lè ṣe ìmọ̀dá àbí hobby láíláí. Physically, mentally and spiritually and financially. Ìyáyé fi àfihàn àkọ́kọ́ wọn àti wọ́tá ìlà ìrìnà ìrìnà àzí. Baba Shafawad was talking I said, no, this is what I want to tell everybody. He made mention that we have to be tolerant, that we have to be accommodating, that we have to be loving. That takes me to one ayah of the Quran. That ayah is very, very popular. Coincidentally, it's Muhammad Rosulullah, وَالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ أَشِدَّاءُ عَلَى الْكُفَّارِ رُحَمَاءُ بَيْنَهُم. Àwọn bàbá ní ọgbà ọdún ìgbàjọ tó sọ́sà yà yẹn ní NTA. Lójú mi, dókítà, pòfẹ́sọ̀sà, lójú mi, mo rò fọlọ́ ti kankan síwájú ojú kankan sẹ́yìn. Muhammad Rasulullah, Muhammad the Prophet, the messenger of the Almighty Allah. وَالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ, and those who are with him, أَشِدَّاءُ عَلَى الْكُفَّارِ, they are so stern, they are tough upon the kafir. Taba accept that idea, that means the Prophet is a terrorist. But on the other hand, وَالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ أَشِدَّاءُ عَلَى الْكُفَّارِ رُحَمَاءُ بَيْنَهُم. رُحَمَاءُ بَيْنَهُم, whenever the Muslims have mutual compassion within themselves, that will be a terrorism against the Prophet. Now, the Bible are terrorize our people. And that is the missing link today. So the woman seems like a broken spectacle. That's the woman who absolutely so broken to pieces. The way oh yeah you love me, hey you can do why you really want me. But I pray who are clean, pure blood. I will still saying as one. We Muslims today we don't see ourselves as one. And the rallying point, given our values, so and make sure as possible, we have the same prophet, the same book, the same Qibla. Why are we now like this? We will postulate the Gaza. We will postulate the way. When you meet a non-Muslim, the first thing you have to I believe there's something you fought out with. Loyalty and not very family sit out with. He introduced himself. If I tell you something is behind me, will you believe? He said he didn't believe. If I tell you something is going to attack you at the back of this morning, will you believe? He said he didn't believe. Then he said, who will I be like? See, I never know about that. That is the secret to an cool phenomenon of mine. And it took so there's a difference between reading the hadith and knowing the personality of the Prophet. This time, Tanya, Professor Timmy is okay. You are not good enough as a speaker. Come up with liar and do so, and people are never going to give. So any professor should be the first intro. The first Quran you are born. You be the first Quran. So we should be able to be a good ambassador of the Prophet, a good ambassador of Islam and the Quran. Thank you.
Women in the life of Muhammad and how he was able to, the nutrition, how did the Prophet mingle, engage our women to the extent that they were so comfortable with the Prophet. They so like him. They are not detached from him. They couldn't even detach from him to the extent that many of them want to be at the base. And these are our contemporary challenges.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil mursalin. Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsan ila yawmid din. Brothers and sisters in Islam, my highly regret fathers and present and mothers, our very distinguished Sheikh, Mukhter, kindly permit me to stand on the wisdom protocols as I do not have the time to exchange pleasantries. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I've been asked to talk about the moderate practice of the Prophet when it comes to the women's perspective. First and foremost, I'd like to share something in this gathering. I'd like to charge us Muslims, I'd like to implore us as the Muslim woman to please always listen to lectures with the openness of our hearts. We have so many schools of thought in Islam. I personally, for one, shy away from such programs because my school of thought might tilt towards the left. We have 4 imams, and I'll be speaking more on the Imam Malik version of view, and you might want me to speak more on the Imam Sheikh point of view. So we have so many schools of thought, and I always charge us as Muslims to please always listen to lectures with the openness of our hearts, whereby you ask yourself certain questions. Why is this person saying this? What do I have to do with this message? How does it impact me as a Muslim and my immediate environment? If we have the basic answers to these questions, I believe we will understand that every ustaz, every lecturer, every sheikh, every imam has one goal. It's to call us towards the path of good. It's to call us towards Allah. It's to make us closer to Almighty Allah. May Allah make it easy for us, inshallah. Now going back, there was an article I read a long time ago. It was on Google. It was posted by Google TV channel. And the title of the article was what captivated me at the time to read it. The article was titled, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam demonstrates. It was referred to as demonstrates. And it was said in this article that our Prophet lived a life that was well balanced. He maintained moderate actions in all his course. The Prophet was neither tilting to the left or neither tilting to the right. He was always in the middle. He was able to be just in his actions, in his deeds, in his temperament. When he's angry, which I don't even know if the Prophet was ever angry, when he's happy, in his dealings and interactions with humans. He's our guide. Someone says sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet is our guide, our template, our manual, the best of all mankind. That has led an exemplary life, an ultimate example for you and I to follow. When it comes to talking about practice, the prophetic practice for women, when it comes to practice in Islam, I believe there's no women practice or men or male practice. Because the Quran itself, at every point in time when God wanted to talk about our male counterpart, he follows it up with our female counterpart. In Quran, it's 3:35, verse 35, Allah would say, Int'l Muslimina wal Muslimat, wal Mu'minina wal Mu'minat. He went on and on and on. It was neither on one side, it was always on both of us. So when it comes to our practice, when I started researching on this topic, I found one thing missing. The reason why we are having problems in the society today, it is very simple. It is the taqwa, the fear of Allah, the consciousness of Allah that is missing in our society today. Be you a woman, my sister, or be you a man, my brothers, where have we put the fear of Allah? If we're able to go back to the base of the drawing board, and we invite the culture of knowing, I've never seen Allah, you have never seen Allah, no one here has seen Allah, but we are aware of His majestic presence in our midst and within us at all times. So what we need to do is, we need to cultivate our souls. We need to believe in Allah. We need to know that Allah is present, is within us. There was a time I had a conversation with parenting with a group of women, and somebody asked me, how do you think you can be a successful parent? How do you think your own parents actually raised you and brought you up to have been a success story? And then I thought about it for a few seconds and I asked myself why. All those days when we were in school, why didn't you used to go to the club? Why did I never drink? Why did I never smoke? Why did I never, I always tried my best to be humble at any point in time if I do it. It was not because I was aware of a lot of things going on around me, but I loved my father. A parent is the first God. Mothers, please listen. you are the first teachers for these children. The family is the smallest unit of the nation. When the family is grounded, the nation will be sustainable. The nation will then come together eventually to make our world. When our children love us, they will take everything from us. If you tell them this flower is eatable, it's artificial flower, but they will eat it because they do love us. My father showed us so much love while we were growing up. And the only thing I used to paint them or paint back then was, how do I paint Mama? My mom is supporting it. Simple. That is human. That is not even Allah. So if you are aware of Allah, if you know how big Allah and mighty He is, and you have the fear of Allah is not you being afraid of Allah. It's the fear that is birthed out of love for Allah. You need to understand Allah, you need to know Allah even before you worship Allah. The Quran has given us all of the things that we need, and the Prophet is a guide for us to understand how we're supposed to navigate our life through. So I always say to my sisters most especially, if you go to bed at all times with taqwa, you would have the intention to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning to perform salah. If you wake up in the morning and you have the fear of Allah in you, you will not pick your phone first time to check Instagram or TikTok. You will want to talk to Allah first before you go about your media first. When it comes to modesty in Islam, when it comes to moral standards and upbringing, conducting yourself as the beautiful being that you are in Islam. If you have the fear of Allah in you, you will be moderate in everything that you do. When you dress, how am I dressed? Am I tilting towards this place or that place? Okay, I can achieve a balance by just trying to be in the middle. So I charge us all today to work on our faith, to work on the fearness of Allah in our hearts. Even our Quran says in the Quran 2 verse 2 that the scripture, no doubt, is for the ones that are conscious of Allah. It says
it should have been for me to come over here and learn. أعطيتك العامة ولأحسب نفسي مقيما في هذا المكان فأفضل أن أقول عن نفسي ضعيفا بمعنى الكلمة. When I come to a place like this, what I've got to do is to listen and learn. And the reason is very simple. I do not live in Nigeria. I do not read Nigerian news for the sake of Rosulullah. Because if I live in America and I bother myself with what's going on in Nigeria, then that's not Rosulullah. Then I'm going to believe in my life as if I'm in Nigeria when of course I'm not there. الوسطية بمعنى الكلمة هي ما دعا إليها الإسلام. الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم فعلا ولد بين الكفار والمشركين وعاش وترعرع بينهم، ومع ذلك ما منعه ذلك على أن يؤدي الأمانات كما ينبغي. Today when people كان الناس قد وضعوا العلمية على المحمدية، فدعني أسألك ماذا الذي كان أبو بكر يتعلم عند الرسول أنه وصف؟ ماذا كان عمر لأجل ماذا كان عمر يحضر مجالس الرسول لتعلم البلاغة؟ إن من أهم المشاكل التي تواجهنا المسلمون اهتمامنا بلغة غيرنا ووضعناها فوق ما دعونا إليه حقيقة. فالدعوة من عند الله سبحانه وتعالى التي يجب الاستجابة إليها هي الوسطية المحمدية. Rosulullah. As a man of Wasatiyya, and I'll tell you why. I was a very young chap when I met him. Of course, we all see him on TV. And in this country, when I was living over here, I was about 16 years old when I became an editor of one magazine, right? And I was given a task to go and interview him. So we met over there in Shomolu. Very pleasant man, and we were talking, and he told me something. Because I don't forget things, right? Because I grew up with an infected. How can you من المشاكل إلي من المواجهات التي يعني تزعجه هو وكانت تصده من أن يودي. You are forced to be a student. That is what's up here. If he has to go to Nasfat and say Sheikh Ibrahim is a Sheikh, Sheikh Ibrahim is not the owner of Nasfat. So you want to proclaim Sheikh Ibrahim, you get your own place. That is what's up here. مولانا الشيخ سعيد اسماعيل حصل على شهادة عالية تجاوزت حد الهجرية. And does not call himself ولي. إنه معلم مدرس في الجامعة لا يدعي ما ليس عنده. هذا هو العقلية الوسطية. It is not so. When all of us are still of knowledge, understand that Islam and Muhammadiyah is a different thing, and learn Arabic language, which has caused all this problem, it's a different thing, then we will understand what's up here. You want to be a sheikh in Arabic language, لأن الشيخ لكلمة الشيخ معانيها كثيرة صح؟ ولكل حال أن يندرج يعني تحت الذي يختار لنفسه. If you want to be a sheikh معلما مدرسا في الجامعة فاذهب وعمل على وصول شهادات. If you want to be an imam, you cannot graduate as someone with Arabic and Islamic studies and you think what you've got to do is to go work for Nasfat or Qarib. That is not what's up here. That's not what you learn. You leave that to those who go to school for Tanawiyah, and that's where they stopped. And you leave that to be allowed to become a very good Al-Salatu. Do not go over and start bothering with Arabic language and all these things that you say they're not respecting the Imam. That is not what's up here. وسطية وأن يعترف الإنسان أو الشخص نفسه وأن لا يعطي غيره من لا يساعد الغير أن يعطيه. هذه أمان الوسطية عندي، وأنا أسكن في مدينة الوسطية التي بنيت الوسطية وأوجبت المدينة على سكانها الوسطية طبعا وكان. إذا so وسطية here, if we're not having this conversation, I'm not sure I would be holding the microphone discussing this thing because it's not different from AIT and channels and those guys come on and talk about it and big grammar and you know what I'm saying. وسطية وأن يعود كل مسلم إلى معنى الإسلام وذلك هي المحمدية لا عربية.
Just told us is that you place the right thing at the right place. You don't take what does not belong to a particular setting or setup and place it somewhere else. He gave us, he made a very valid point. I think was that Abu Bakr, Umar, and so on and so forth. What did they learn from the Prophet? Was it that they learned Arabic from the Prophet or any other thing? But the only thing they learned from the Prophet was moderation. And that moderation is character, modesty, ways of doing things. In our context, there are too many misplaced priorities, misplacement of priorities. People who are not supposed to be in a particular environment. They claim to go there and they, pour all their knowledge where they are not needed. So when you place your knowledge or your ability where they are not needed, they are not being moderate in the whole sense. Thank you very much. This is.
Let me stand on the sitting protocol. But let me say it clearly here. But I must also express my own sentiment. By 1995, when Allah brought into existence Rosulullah society, some of us who grew up to be fond of Nasfat and were there, and some of us found ourselves in the university and became a researcher. I've always thought that that was the best that I could do for Islam in the Southwest. But with what we have seen here today, and the giant strides that Sheikh Ahmed Mukhter has been able to take, to have these enemies here. We can only say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. I want to rejoice with you and rejoice with the entire Muhammad Rosulullah global family for these enemies. Our prayers that everybody has been saying for you since yesterday, when the entire social media space was flooded. People are calling me from different parts of the world. Even I got a call from somebody from Canada. Is this Nigeria? I said, this is Nigeria. So people are still in doubt that she has the capacity of Nigerians to do well when they have chosen to do well. This is a clear example of that. It transcends beyond religious confinement. The capacity of somebody to say, I want to do this, and I want to do it, and get it done in record time. May Allah going to bless you, sir. Let me also mention to the fact that what you have asked us to do here, I want to align myself with what is expressed by my brother here. I also don't like talking. I talk in the classroom. But I tell people, it don't require Allah to tell you when you are soaked in the rain. Particularly for those of us who live in Lagos, you are soaked in the rain and you are moving around and you are pressed with urination. You require the Quran Allah to tell you how to breathe. Be honest with yourself, it has happened to you. So what will it not be stupid for you to be looking for toilets? You are in the rain, you are soaked already, and then you are now pressed. What will you do? You know what you have done of it. I also do the same thing. So sometimes, some of the things we say here are things that we know already. We know it already. Professor Tinay mentioned something that the fact that people said Islam, the God that we serve, is a transcendent God. One clear thing we must all agree, and you can even go and study about it. You know what we quarrel about as Muslims? It's not even the jurisprudence. What issues about jurisprudence are definitive issues. How to pray, how to fast, how to go on Hajj, what are the rules for marriage, the rules for divorce, all those things are settled. Our quarrel most often is on the basis of theology. And whether anybody likes it or not, it is speculative. It's speculative. Theology in Islam is what? Speculative. It means that you cannot rely on the opinion of any scholar to say in exactitude this is what Allah meant. Allah didn't invite you. He didn't consult you. And you are not there. So why would you not tell us? And to move back to what it is, it's just simple. When our Prophet Muhammad reviewed two things, the Quran and the Hadith, the Sunnah. Muslims have left the Quran. We are no longer studying the Quran. What we are studying today is scholarly interpolation of the Quran. It's not the Quran, it's not the Hadith. I said, Muslims these days, particularly in our kind of world here, we don't study the Quran. We read the Quran and we do it for competition, all those things that we do. Yeah, the rest of them. When you bring and you do competition, we even do what we call memorization of the Quran now. But we don't study the Quran. We don't study the life of the prophets. What we rely on for our daily lifestyles is the scholarly interpolation of the Quran and the Sunnah. Until we remove ourselves from it. Let me give you, and we are losing so much for it. I give you a verse in Surah to the Quran, Surah to Al-Baqarah. I said, you should obey Allah and obey the prophets. And you should not disagree. Because if you disagree, you will dissipate your energy and you lose your concentration. And the enemies will be at bay with you. I need to go back. What do we do? I have said this. the simplest definition of who a Muslim is what our teacher has given us and Professor Tiemeni. Our sentiment should be Islam, and that's why the Prophet said, it is not evil. It is not evil for you to hold your Muslim brother or sister in contempt. How do you define who a Muslim is? Simple definition. Somebody say I'm a Muslim. It's enough. That's the sentiment that should be able to know. I owe this person some form of compassion. That hadith that is very popular. Some of us we know it. The person said, "I'm a Muslim, I'm a Muslim." And he used the word "al-mu'min." He said, "Those who are the base of faith, are the Muslims. Then they are your brothers." I said, and he said for them, there are three things that Muslim, everything about him is haram. Three things: damu, wamalu, wa eridu. His life becomes inviolate. You must not touch his life. His properties must be secured with you, and you must not destroy his honor. Let me cap it up now by saying that we are losing so much. I have been looking at it. I have been saying several places where I had the right to speak. Do you think? How do you think if the Muslims in Lagos say they know this is bottled water? This is bottled water. But some of the things that is spoiling this intra-religious conflict among us is poverty. We are so poor, and we have no reason to be poor because we have the numerical strength. Think of all the Salatu group in Lagos, the Nansat, the Jamkat, all the Yats and the Deans. Put them together. If you have all these umbrella organizations, Muslim, I don't know what they do. Nakomi, I don't know what they do. Yeah, it is about socio-economic emancipation of the Muslims. Is it difficult for us to produce water? Look at what we have, the brand we have here. Go and check the directors of this company. Who are they? Sometimes we are empowering our competitors in a religious circle, in a religious competing economy to feed us. We are not there. So for me, moving forward, is that all of us, you know all these things. Islam is about love. And let me now, because I'm sitting with my brother here, for you to understand Islam, Allah, there is no other way but tasawwuf. That transcendence that has been mentioned by people, that is the only way. And that is why you cannot, if you know Allah, you can never hurt a fly. It only takes, regardless of who a scholar, that scholar is. If the scholar is telling you, kill people, hate people, don't greet them, don't eat their food. If any scholar is like that, scholar did not know who Allah is. If you know Allah, even a fly, you will not want to hurt a fly.
As Muslims, we are actually ambassadors of this religion. So I try my best. I like something my brother here said. We are here to learn as we continue to build up on our knowledge. So I don't want to speak from a righteous point of view because we are all work in progress. Every Muslim here is a sinner. And we strive and thrive to just look for the mercy of Allah for the day. So when it comes to mentoring women, I have a foundation that mentors young girls, because I believe that you catch them young. So the foundation enables and empowers them the best way we know how to. As regards your second question, I spoke about the fearless of Allah. That is the answer to all our problems. That is the answer to all our questions and solution to all our problems. Wallahi, as women, as humans, as male, female, anyone, it doesn't matter at this point. If we hold on fast to the recognition of Allah, knowing that He's here within me, He can see me, even if I cannot see Him, it will guide every decision we make. The outfits, our attitudes, our interaction in private, in public, everything goes back to how well we know Allah. I spoke about the concept of self recently. The problem that we have in Islam is that we do not even know the God that we serve. Allah says, know me before you serve me. How do you even serve a God you do not know? In knowing your God is you knowing your prophet. In knowing the prophet is knowing yourself. You have to first of all fight the battle of, as I said, education. You need to know. We need to find out. We don't have to listen to the fine-tuned version, as my father here said, that people are feeding us with. We have all the resources out there. It depends on how well we want to use it best. So I hope I've been able to answer your question, my brother. Thank you so much.
I'm very happy today. And no words of appreciation. Only our speakers who are saying God my name. I'm very happy because all of me love me. Ṣé àsọdẹ́gbẹ́ wọn sọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́wọ́n wá kúrò nílé? Ṣé wọ́n sọ wípé nípa wọn? Rárá ẹ̀wọ́n kò yẹ nísìn. Káwọn èèyàn tó jáde ní wọ́n ẹ̀yìn fún ọ. Ọ̀hún dúpẹ́ fún àwọn àpè yìí lọ́wọ́. Sheikh, before I will proceed to introduce you the man behind this project. The man that I took all of his time for the whole year. As a matter of fact, his wife is here, but alhamdulillah, she is very understand that she was up. I was talking about somebody, but the engineer and the company to share our news. And Uncle ẹni náà tí gbogbo wa wò ó pé níbo ni iṣẹ́ ò ti lọ gbé ẹni tó ṣiṣẹ́ wa a lot of questions ni wọ́n ti máa gbọ́ ṣé àwọn alágbáwá ni wọ́n kọ́ ni ṣé àwọn kìíní kan ni Yorùbá rẹ̀ tó kọ̀ bọ́ ìkẹ́kẹ́ tí mo kà níbẹ̀ ni pé ìwé ìpínlẹ̀ wọn tẹ̀ wọ́n. Let me introduce to you Engineer Yusuf Adeboyega. Ẹ máa bọ̀ wájú wa. àwọn bàbá wa sọ.
Nínú àwọn messages tí a rí gbọ́n bá ilé ni ibi tá à ń lọ kẹ̀kẹ́ time drivers àwọn speakers wa ti sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí. Ó dùn mí pé máìkì yóò ṣiṣẹ́ mọ́ nípa pé ọ̀sàsíyà táwọn dárúkọ táwọn sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí.
Ṣé ò ní súnmọ́kè?
Ṣé gbogbo wa ni wọ́n ti ń jáde lọ ṣe wá sí wọ́n yé sọ? Wọ́n lá àwọn èèyàn ní gbọ́. The only thing tí wọ́n máa enjoy ni pé it's very eloquent. What is the message? They are forgotten.
No.
Kí ni impact? Lábẹ́ fi message yẹn mú wà ní ṣe. Kò wá jẹ́ kókó ọ̀rọ̀ wa wúlò gan. Bí mo ṣe wà ọ̀rọ̀ òkè ń wo èmi náà sọ mọ́. Papọ̀ mọ́ láwọn èèyàn àti ọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀.
Mú yẹn wá.
Because ẹni tó fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ tó fẹ́ bá sọ̀rọ̀ tí ò nírú view tí wọ́n ní tí ò nírú máìlì tó ní. Wàá kà sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn kò ní wúlò wá. Àsìkò ọ̀rọ̀ kọ́ àsìkò iṣẹ́ làwà. Nítorí wọ́n rò pé lè fi yẹ́pù sísá. Ó yẹ kọ́kọ́ mọ yàrá lẹ́nu. He was not a Christian, he is a Christian even bí wàá yé sọ̀rọ̀ yìí. Orúkọ rẹ̀ John ló ń jẹ́. Ìwọ àná. Ìfẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ púpọ̀ lẹ́nu torí bọ́ọ̀lù ti mú. Kí àtọ́ àráìfù lórí ọ̀rọ̀ John lórí káfẹ́sì ṣe nǹkan yìí. Our Muslim brothers who olùjọ Sunday. Ẹjọ́ olùjọ Sunday. So anyway, let me just fi sí ẹgbẹ́ mi ká bá ìjọ Sunday we discuss that. But alhamdulillah that it is the high time. It is the high time. Kí alábàárì àti ṣẹ́kìnì àti foríkorí láì ṣe dáadáa. Kí ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ máa lọ báyìí, kí ẹni lè máa lọ báyìí. Kò sí Mùsùlùmí tó wáyé láti nínú ayé òní. Conference yìí àkọ́kọ́ tá a máa ṣe nínú mosque yìí ni. Àkọ́kọ́ tá a máa ṣe nínú sẹ́ńtà yìí ni. Láti ká bẹ́tí community ẹ̀kẹ́ pé níbo àti Radisson àti orí ẹ̀ka tá a lò. Kí ni fẹ́ rọ̀ bá àwọn tó ju láàrin yìí náà lọ? So, alhamdulilayi rabbil alamin, that tí nǹkan báyìí bá ń láǹfààní àti ṣẹlẹ̀ kò ń ṣe nǹkan tí ẹ̀ka máa dédé rò tálẹ̀ dédé ṣe fún rẹ̀ àfikún lọ kó irú àwọn èèyàn tán rí ìnà irú tí wọ́n rí yẹn tí wọ́n dẹ̀ láti ṣe irú iṣẹ́ tí kò fẹ́ ṣe ni kọ́lọ̀ kó ṣe náà fẹ́ẹ́ kọ̀ọ̀kan wa ilé yóò ní jẹ́ àṣemọ nínú kọ́nfẹ́rẹ́nsì àbájáde kọ́nfẹ́rẹ́nsì lórí ọ̀rọ̀ moderation tá a ní sọ pé sẹ́ńtà yẹn máa wà ńlẹ̀ wàhálà tí àwa mùsùlùmí tó wà láàrin wa wà láojú ti federal government of Nigeria wa lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn muskila àrí àwọn afá ojú ti federal government lọ. Ó yẹ pé kí là ṣe máa ṣe báyìí ká máa yára wa ní ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ sí. Mo rí kankan nínú ibùdó táwọn Saudi fi ń tolú wọn. Tó o bá dé Saudi wọn fẹ́ mọ̀ bóyá Sufiya ní àbí Salafiya. Kò sí tó kàn wọ́n wọnú aráàlú lọ kó o lọ kírun yóò bá dẹ̀ kírun tọ́kọ yóò ní ti ní kó lọ́ disturb tó fẹ́ ṣe wọ́n lè máa lé ẹ̀ ó ń ṣe pé torí kó ń sábà lọ fi ń lé ẹ̀ ó ti dí ọ̀nà tẹ́lómi ó fẹ́ gbà kọjá nínú. So ibi tá a ti gbé ìgbà ẹ̀sìn ibẹ̀ náà ti rí pé it is time for moderation torí pé lórí ọ̀rọ̀ láyé mi mo ṣe wà mi kì í fẹ́ lọ jù lórí gbogbo nǹkan. I don't like going too far about things because wọ́n ní ọ̀la túgì lánàá ilẹ̀ sàbáàtà ta iná sàlábátà ìsáàyè tí èèyàn bá wà láàrin lórí nǹkan wàá lè rí wájú wàá lè rí ẹ̀yìn tí èèyàn bá ti jẹ́ tútútú religious jù lọ́la ìwọ́n fura sí i wọ́n scam ní am I not making sense? Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn tẹ́sẹ̀ mùsùlùmí fún mi láyé tẹ́rí mi parí wàláì ó kọ́ ọlọ́run lẹ́fi gbá mi. Nígbà tó fẹ́ gbéṣẹ́ fún ẹ kakọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ kakọ́ ṣe bísí láàrin náà tẹ́lẹ̀ àwọn kí n ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ bísí láì ní agbẹ́bí ẹ lọ́wọ́ but with that ó fẹ́ fún rẹ̀ ní ìjà bẹ́ẹ̀ ni tó bá ti gbé tẹ̀sán wọlé tó bá ti ṣiṣẹ́ rẹ̀ ó ti mọ̀ tó bá ti respond nítorí fún adìẹ lọ́wọ́ mú ìyẹn tó ẹjọ́ tó bá fọkàn bàbá adé adébá ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ yorùbá adébá torí téèyàn bá ti ṣe bí ẹlẹ́sìn tó serious jù mo máa ń wo ni pé tí ò wá kí n ṣe èèyàn mo fẹ́ tó gbọ́ ó bá ká mọ́ tó kù sí mi moderation kí n kò ní ṣe èèyàn nígbà tí wọ́n á sọ pé àyà jàhálà kún ummatan wasatan tó wá ní nínú wọ́sàtù ni àyà náà wà so ó túmọ̀ sí wípé kámọ́ búra wa kámọ́ pariwo essence of this conference ni yẹn enough of this gawgaw on the internet enough of this ṣẹwà pẹ̀lú mi enough of this ní àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tí ó wúlò tí ó yẹ ká mọ̀ sí rárá àwọn àmì kan lánàá lẹ́nìkẹ́ bá pọ̀ sí fídíò kan ó lọ kọ orin ni ó ní ẹmọ́fọ́lá ìnẹ́bì tọrọ mọ́ ẹmọ́fọ́lá ìnẹ́bì tó ayẹ́wò pé nínú gbogbo àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà very important sí wa ẹgbọ́rọ̀ ṣé mi wà ní kámọ́fọ́lá ìnẹ́bì tọrọ ànẹ́bì tọrọ sọ pé ọlọ́run ọlá ìnẹ́bì fún ànẹ́bì nílé lọ́wọ́ ó dẹ̀ fún ìyẹn ni wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sọ pé kámọ́fọ́lá ìnẹ́bì tọrọ ó wá yà mí lẹ́nu pé kéèyàn tó kọ oró nígbà tó rò tó fọ́ lórí ó wá lọ súdíò mẹ́sẹ̀jì tó bẹ́ẹ̀ bá fún àwọn mùsùlùmí ni pé ọ̀fọ̀lá ìnẹ́bì tọrọ tàbá dúró lórí ìyá àníri kẹ́kẹ́ sí gbogbo àwọn tẹ́rí tí wọ́n wà yìí lónìí kí é ṣorí lẹ́fù yẹn nìkan ló wà nítorí bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ká fara wa lọ́wọ́ ká fi ra dáadáa mo lọ sí kọ́fẹ́sì kan ní Morocco ẹni tó jókòó sí mọ̀músù Saudi kò fórí òyìnbó kí ni pọ́blẹ́mù rẹ̀ tó jà sí pé ìmúra àbí àwọn kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹni tí ò borí nígbà tó ń lé yóò ní òtò ọmọ ẹwà tó wà nínú káborí bá mi dí àṣẹwà ìdámára ìtọwọ́nú ọ̀nà tí ó fi kan sórí àbí ó gọ̀ọ̀ra ẹlẹ́mà pàdíwò dàdá kan bí ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ kò ń ṣe pé kákọ́bà orí òun ṣe ẹ̀sìn àmọ́jọ́ tó bá rírú ènìyàn ìfọwọ́ wá bóyá ìgbà ló ti máa wá ló fi máa gbà pé tíyàn bá ń kọ́bà orí ó dáa níjọ́ tẹ̀ bá jó wọlé báwo ló ṣe máa ṣe a lot of Muslims ni wọ́n ti cross sí àwọn ẹ̀sìn mi lórí àtàṣàdùkù yìí àmú ẹ̀sìn yìí lively báwo èèyàn a wà too serious too rigid tó yá sí pé àárò bí pé àwọn nìkan Ọlọ́run dá ayé fún ni ṣé ìgbọ́nù sọ́lẹ̀ kan pé mùsùlùmí mọ́ rògbé pé àwọn nìkan làwọn wà ní inú ayé kò dẹ̀ rí bẹ́ẹ̀ obìnrin kan wá láti Britain wá sí conference mo sọ yẹn wọ́n láì Kàdìríyà tó ti lo 25 years síbẹ̀ tẹ́ bá rí ẹ̀ lè pẹ̀pẹ́ ni tó tiẹ̀ kí orí so níjọ́ tá a bá gba tiwa wọlé pé lágbájá báyìí eléyìí kò sọ kò dẹ̀ sọ pẹ̀lú làákàyè lágbájá làkásẹ̀ Yorùbá yìí nǹkan báyìí lábẹ́ ṣe níjọ́ òun la tó fẹ́ mú nàtíjà tó dá jáde fúnra wa nínú ẹ̀sùn ìlànà lè kú nìfò بينكم علامة وهذه الدجاج الكبرى علامة torí díẹ̀ yìí ẹja gbara wa láàyè orí mọ́sídìí Muhammad Rasulullah aṣọ ní Muhammad Rasulullah Islamic Center regardless of your sect story denomination wherever you are, you can come here and worship, you can come here and deliver whatever it is good by Muslim, whatever we will not encourage and will not welcome here òní kí èèyàn ó máa gbé wa kúrò nínú al-Islamu al-mustawi, Islamu al-wasati, ìlànà ìsìlámì tí àwọn tí wọ́n mú wá gbásọ́ bá wọn fẹ́ mọ́lẹ̀ sí àbíbẹ̀ kọ́ ni so ìyẹn ní encourage wa àwọn àtàwọn mùsùlùmí lájọ máa gbé àwọn àtàwọn kìrìsìtẹ́nì lájọ máa gbé wàhálà tó wà láàrin ara wa gbé pọ̀ ká tó wá sọ tàwọn ẹlẹ́sìn mi láàrin wa nítorí fa ẹjọ́ oúnjẹ Christmas fún gbogbo ìparí December.